What's up, everyone? This is Clock Management. I'm your host, Justin, and as always, I'm joined by Perry.
And Justin, of all your beautiful curves, and let me say there are many, your smile is my favorite.
Well, yeah, did not see that twist ending coming. I thought we were definitely going to a
Hey,
much different place.
when there are that many curves, you have to expect a twist ending. You know what I'm saying?
Right? And especially when
it's a curvy road.
when we talk about some of the websites and stuff where you're trying to find some of these pickup lines, I was like, oh no, did he finally give in to one of these?
No. Dirtymommy.com. No, that's not what it is. I gotta make
It's
sure.
something mom or
Yeah,
mommy or
scarymommy.com
scary mommy. Okay.
is the weirdest pickup line website ever, by the way.
And you're welcome, scarymommy.com, for all the traffic we just gave you.
For the shout out, the hundreds of people that will check that out.
I expect a check in the mail.
I will just say right now, I am not responsible for anybody that Googles dirtymommy.com. Okay. That was a mistake. It is scarymommy.com.
Also, you're welcome, dirtymommy.com.
Nope. I'm not taking responsibility for that Freudian slip.
Before I guess after that.
Beer. All right, guys, I'm feeling loose.
This
is a fantasy football podcast, by the way.
Yeah.
We have not. That's the first time we said the word football this entire recording so far.
We're actually giving away an autographed jersey. I don't remember what jersey it is this month.
That I don't know. You usually handle that.
No, I got to go back and check.
You have to look. We look like fools right now.
I know, but you guys can check it out in our prior videos, or just comment and subscribe, and you'll be entered to win whichever jersey that is.
Right. Whatever jersey that is.
Yeah.
It could be anything.
It could.
A mystery jersey.
It's a mystery to me. I'm going to have to recheck that. I normally have it next to me to remind me, but I don't today. Yeah, but we're to the fantasy football playoffs, Perry. We made it.
Well, yeah, you and I both made it. I think you've got a first round bye. Congratulations.
Yes, which is great with some of my matchups.
I do not have a first round bye, and I got to say I had a disappointing Thursday night with Robert Woods.
Yeah,
at 5.6 points in our league, 5 of 8 receiving for 32 yards and 1 negative yard rushing. So a little disappointed because they had a decent night.
To Cup too,
right? But it's okay.
Yeah,
I'll make a comeback. Nobody seems to want to stay healthy on my team.
Yeah, and I was going to say, on your team, I know the wide receivers are not your strong suit. Your running back core is, especially if they can be healthy.
My running back core, yes, is very strong, and I drafted Austin Eckler, Christian McCaffrey, and Joe Mixon, and they've all spent significant time on IR. And somehow my running back core is strongest part of my team. I would say Aaron Rodgers has probably been the strongest part of my team. But.
Yeah.
Anyways, it is the fantasy playoffs, man. And apparently everyone decided to get hurt this week to celebrate the first week of fantasy playoffs. At least that's how it appears when we look at the news, huh?
Right? You want to get us into some news?
Yeah. So this is in no particular order. This is just kind of how I found it. But I want to talk about Jay Sternberger, tight end for the Packers, has a concussion and he will not play Sunday. Obviously, none of us were starting Jay Sternberger, but I think some people were trying to figure out if they wanted to start Robert Tanyan. I know that Robert Tanyan right now is the 4th tight end, but he had some really big weeks that have kind of propelled him up to that point. He's had some really big dud weeks as well. But I'll talk about Robert Tanyan in a little bit more detail later. But because Jay Sternberger is out, I like Robert Tanyan a little bit more this week.
Yeah, makes sense.
Frank Gore is officially questionable.
He's playing.
Yeah, I agree. I think that Frank Gore is going to play. He practiced in full on Friday. I don't Obviously, it's a concussion, so it's not up to him. But because he practiced in full today, I think that he will play on Sunday against the Seahawks. So everybody that went and picked up Ty Johnson, hoping that they had like a slam dunk there, I'm afraid you might not. But I do think Ty Johnson will still get some work. So just keep that in mind.
And
if you were expecting him to carry,
even if the NFL tells Frank Gore he can't play, he's going to be out there still.
Right.
He doesn't not play.
Philip Lindsay is good to go for week 14. Just want to point that out for Melvin Gordon owners. Jerry Jeudy is also good to go for week 14. Kenny Goliday is out for week 14 with a hip injury. He'll miss his, I think, 6 games in a row now for Kenny Goliday.
Yeah.
So it's a bummer. I was expecting big things this year from Kenny Goliday. And he's just been dealing with these injuries all season. Antonio Gibson is officially ruled out for week 14. For me, this is a big JD McKissick moment. Somebody I'll also talk about a little bit later, but Peyton Barber will also see some work here, but I think JD McKissick is really the only startable option at running back on this team.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. Cool. Yeah. I need you to confirm. I live through you.
I appreciate that.
David Johnson will likely not play in week 14. It's listed as a personal issue. We do know that he's been dealing with some injuries. Duke Johnson will continue to lead the backfield here with CJ Prosise getting a little work, but Duke Johnson is really the only startable option out of this backfield. Julio Jones has been ruled out for week 14 with a hamstring injury. Kind of a bummer. I think Julio Jones, again, somebody who expected huge things from this season. And
talking about Julio, so I put up a poll on Twitter. I just want to get your opinion on this. All right, so the Twitter poll goes as such. The year is 2021. You're doing your fantasy football draft. Your pick options are Julio Jones, Deontay Johnson, or Allen Robinson. Which one are you picking?
Oh boy.
Right?
Probably Deontay Johnson.
Yeah, he's who's leading the poll. And it's just crazy to think of if you rewind just 1 year, you know?
Right. I don't think that Julio Jones has fallen off a cliff. I just think that he's had a tough year with injury. But I do think that the years of Julio just being a top 3
dominant
year
presence
out are probably over.
Yeah.
Joe Mixon will not play against Dallas. We'll cover Giovanni Bernard a little later, but somebody that you should probably be starting.
Yeah.
And then Jalen Hurts is officially named the starting quarterback for the Eagles. Carson Wentz is out.
Yeah, non-injury, just benched.
Let me ask you, Justin, is this a Carson Wentz issue or is this an Eagles issue?
It's an Eagles issue, 100%. But
let me ask you this, Justin.
Why does every team not want to play their starting quarterback against New Orleans?
Let me ask you this, Justin. Carson Wentz or Jimmy Garoppolo as the 49ers starter in 2021?
Please give me Carson Wentz.
I agree, man. Carson Wentz in Denver, I'd take him.
Yeah.
I actually think Carson Wentz is good. I think that the Eagles are terrible with him.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, absolutely. And he loves throwing to the tight end. I mean, we got George Kittle there. Like, just go ahead and plug and play.
True. I mean, yeah, I think if Carson Wentz lands in a place that they know how to build a system around him, that he'll be successful. Like, I don't like it when teams have a talented quarterback, but because that quarterback doesn't fit the system that they wanted, that the coach wants to run, they just try and like force feed it, and it just doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah. No matter how hard you push, the square peg does not go in the circle hole.
Yeah. So we'll see if the more like wildcat running ability that Jalen Hurts obviously has is going to fit Doug Peterson better. But I kind of hope it blows up in his face as well, personally. Not for Jalen Hurts. I feel bad. I hope Jalen Hurts has a wonderful career, but I just think they did Carson Wentz dirty here.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay.
Yeah, and
cool.
they're talking about how Peterson was talking about how they're going to make sure that Jalen Hurts will be successful. Talking about, we need to establish the run and protect him and do this and that. And it's like, well, shouldn't you have been doing all those things with Carson Wentz?
Those are all the things you should have been doing with Carson Wentz.
Yeah.
Damn. Anyways, okay. Let's hear some news nobody cares about.
Oh, I thought you'd never ask.
No, you didn't. You knew I'd ask.
Yeah, it's in the show script, so.
You think there's a script.
All right, so first piece of news no one cares about. Man, I mess his name up every time. Frank Reich?
Reich.
Frank
Reich.
One day I will pronounce a name right. Just any name, not this one.
Yeah, you do pretty well with mine, so.
Oh, thank God. I thought I'd been saying it wrong this whole time. So there's a video of him showing his granddaughter, who's maybe like 2 or 3 years old, like proper football, like ball handling techniques and fundamentals. And it's an awesome video.
Yeah, I saw that too. Yeah. It was really cute.
I wish
it was on Reddit.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
Nice. I wish he would teach Zeke how to hold a ball.
Oh. Okay, you just did it to me, so I'm going to do it to you now. It's 2021. Your pick falls to you, and you need a running back. Your options are Ezekiel Elliott, Alvin Kamara, or James Robinson.
Oh, Alvin Kamara.
Probably, but what if Drew Brees isn't the starting quarterback?
I'm still going with Alvin Kamara. I think they will return to getting him the ball. But after that, James Robinson and then Zeke.
Yeah.
It depends who's the quarterback for Dallas too. I mean,
it's very close for me. I mean, if Dak is back, I'll probably go Zeke, but
yeah.
Okay, go on. Continue.
Okay.
Sir.
Next piece of news no one cares about. Travis Kelsey honored twice this week, once with the Man of the Year award or nominee for his team, the Kansas City Chiefs, and once by being given a Madden rating of 99, both on Thursday.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like there should always be at least 199 at every position, right?
Yeah, because that's what you base everyone else off of.
Right, and who else are you going to put as a 99 right now at tight end?
I would say George Kittle, but you can't because his injury rating would bring him down at this point.
And
but he would be 99. And Kittle would be 98.
Yeah, I would still have Travis Kelsey as 99. I still think Travis Kelsey is the best tight end in the NFL. It's very close. Kittle's amazing.
Because I think Kittle's blocking ability, I think, helps him in the argument.
Sure.
But yeah, I mean, these are tier 1 tight ends in the NFL,
right.
And then after that, it's a pretty steep decline. So the next highest would be a 70. We both agree, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Next news no one cares about. Dez Bryant test positive minutes before the game while warming up. They had to pull Dez Bryant off the field, and he was not happy about it. He tweeted out about it, first asking, wait, so they're not going to postpone the game for me? Is that a shot at his own quarterback?
I mean, I got to say, man, I don't know. I think I brought this up in the last episode. I was pretty pissed with the way the NFL handled that situation compared to how they handled the Denver Broncos situation.
Yeah.
So I kind of get
agrees with you.
Where Dez Bryant's coming from on this. I have a coworker that's a huge Denver fan who refuses now. He says he's boycotting the NFL after that.
Yeah, but like Dez's tweet, it's like, wait, so since you guys did something to benefit my team once, why aren't you doing it again to benefit my team and me?
I'll tell you why. Dez Bryant, because I know you're an avid listener. It's because the NFL really wants Lamar Jackson to play.
Yeah.
And the NFL really doesn't care if you play.
Right.
And that's
in fact,
like a shot at Dez Bryant.
We watched the NFL without Dez Bryant.
It's not a shot at Dez Bryant there, but
and then he tweeted out that he was calling it quits.
Yes, I saw that.
And then he tweeted out that he'll be back next year.
Yeah,
and
I saw that.
then he tweeted out that he was going to have a bunch of wine and talk about business. Which I feel like he already had the wine prior to the other tweets.
After I drink this shot, the shot's gone. You already did it. I feel like I've had conversations like that in the past.
Yeah. All right. Last piece of news no one cares about. Richard Sherman says it would take something out of the ordinary for him to return to San Francisco after this season.
Like an offer?
Yeah, like a contract? I think we all agree with you, Richard Sherman.
That was mean. That was a shot at Richard Sherman.
Yeah, I mean, he takes plenty other people he should be able to handle it.
Yeah. I don't know. I think can he still play?
So I was firmly on the yes side of this until last week, and this is why. So he had only given up one touchdown in 8 years. And then he gave up 2 touchdowns last week.
That doesn't mean anything to me.
I mean, it does that's a great stat up until you give up 2 and 1. I mean, you just ruined it. But I mean, we'll see how it goes forward from here. He's definitely lost a step from his prime. He's getting older. Can he still play? Yeah, he's a smart player and he understands, what's happening on the field, which is a large part of playing that position. So he can still play. I'm sure, he's still going to go somewhere and play football for sure. But it won't be for San Francisco because he's unhappy there now. And I mean, they're not going to want to keep him there because he's probably going to want more money than what they're going to want to pay him.
Do you think he makes a return to Seattle?
No, I don't think. He's not Marshawn Lynch where he has emotional, I think he does have emotional, but not in the same way. Marshawn Lynch looks back and loves Seattle. Richard Sherman looks back and I feel like he's hated every team he's played for by the end of it.
He does seem like the type of person that thinks he's smarter than anybody else around him.
And when they lose, it's everyone else's fault.
Yeah, any situation that doesn't go his way is he considers everybody around me is dumb and doesn't know what they're talking about.
Yep.
Therefore, I need to get out of here.
Yeah. So, I don't think he'll be in Seattle or San Francisco, but maybe he'll go to the Rams out of spite. Yeah.
Rams are the Cardinals, right? He's just he's trying to get every team in the division. All right. What else you got?
That is actually all of the news no one cares about.
Right on. Well, we're going to just talk about some starts of the week, and I think you have a little bonus sit of the week. Yeah. I don't, but I could come up with something, I'm sure. We'll jump right into it. We'll start at the top of the lineup with quarterbacks, Justin.
Yeah. So my quarterback for this week is Kirk Cousins. And before I get into the positive stuff, I'm going to talk about some negative stuff about Kirk Cousins because that's how I like to sell things.
Oh, the low-hanging fruit, huh?
Yeah. So 6 weeks ago from this week, Kirk Cousins let us all down with 10 fantasy points, right? 6 weeks prior to that, he let us down even more with negative fantasy points. But that trend is going to break this week, Perry. He's not going to suck every 6 weeks. And I didn't look back to last season to see if it went back to last season, but now I'm kind of curious. But I think he's going to be a top 8 quarterback this week. And the reason why is he's got a great matchup against Tampa, who you wouldn't think is because they have a pretty good defense. But in the as of the last 4 weeks, Tampa has actually been giving up a lot of points to fantasy quarterbacks. They're the only team worse than them in that time frame is the Jets. And I don't think Perry would have let me choose Russell Wilson as my start of the week.
I literally tried.
Yeah. So if you have Russell Wilson or Kirk Cousins, go with Russell Wilson.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But Kirk Cousins should actually perform in this situation or against Tampa. Tampa's defense started off super strong, but they've been allowing a lot of points for the quarterback position while stopping the run. So I think it could be a bad week for Dalvin Cook. But with how Kirk Cousins and Jefferson have developed this relationship and Jefferson has broken out as of late, and then you still have Adam Thielen there as well, I just think it's going to be a great, like a beautiful week for Kirk Cousins. It has all the makings.
Can I'm just here's the things I'm a little worried about.
Mm-hmm.
Is they've given up at least one sack every game this season. They gave up 4 sacks last week. Kirk Cousins has lost a fumble in the last 3 games. So he's lost 3 fumbles in the last 3 games, 1 per game. And I'm just a little worried that this Tampa front line is going to get to him.
Yeah, which, I mean, I think that's a reasonable concern. But, I mean, if my quarterback gives up a fumble but throws 3 touchdowns, I'm fine with that fumble.
I'm not saying you're wrong. I just think it's risky. Now, my guy, there's no risk involved whatsoever. I'm just kidding. There's always risk.
Yeah, it's fantasy football.
Yeah, it's Taysom Hill against Philadelphia. Taysom Hill just seems to be rolling. And it's not all rushing, although there is rushing involved, which creates a really healthy floor. He's rushed at least 10 times in the last 3 games. He rushed 14 times last week for 83 yards. If we had something similar to that, I would be really excited. I do have to point out that I did just call out Kirk Cousins on his fumbles. Taysom Hill had 3 fumbles last week, but he only lost 1, and that's all that counts. But Taysom Hill is also rushing for touchdowns like mad. He's throwing touchdowns. I just think against Philly, we're just going to get more of the same. I'm not expecting like a big 30-point performance from him, but I think we'll get 23 to 27 points. And you'll be very happy that you started Taysom Hill. And I still think a lot of people haven't quite bought in yet to Taysom Hill as a fantasy option. So he's still available in probably quite a few leagues. I think, Yahoo's 63% owned. So he's not like super owned. So Taysom Hill against Philly, who's just not been good. Sounds good to me.
And Philly is starting a new quarterback, a rookie quarterback. So
Jalen.
That could be a favorable, you may think like, oh, well, New Orleans will probably be winning and be running the ball. Well, that works in Taysom Hill's favor.
Yep. Yeah. Taysom Hill runs the ball. That's what he does. I think he'll definitely see at least 10 carries again. Probably more.
Yeah.
Okay. Running back start of the week. These guys.
Man.
The meat and butter.
Yes. The throwback to the meat and butter.
Yeah.
So I'm going with Giovanni Bernard. Joe Mixon as you talked about in the news, continues to miss time. So no Joe Mixon in the mix.
No Mixon in the mix. It will not be mixing up that lineup. Sorry. It's just...
Yeah, we're not mixing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So Gio's last few weeks have been pretty lackluster. Not going to lie. Like I said, I like to start with the negative, and then come back and end on a positive note, right? But he still managed to get double or just around double digit carries attempts. And then he's had a couple receptions in each of those games as well. And the Cowboys have been the worst team in the NFL against running backs in the last 4 weeks. So, I mean, that's why I feel confident putting him in. I think you're going to see an increase in his carries because he's going to be more productive and he's going to get more catches out of the backfield. Excuse me. So I'm going to put Gio I'm going to feel confident putting Gio in my lineup, and I'm going to trust the mustache.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. 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 There's going to be mustache rides all around. Cowboys are gearing up for it.
Yeah, and it won't be Minshew's. So
no. Just to caveat here, or just to clarify, I had a decision to make right before the episode that Justin very kindly talked me through between my start of the week and his start of the week, and I chose his start of the week because I own both these guys on my team.
Yeah.
So I do think that Joe Mixon is a better start if you have that option. If you do not have that option, Gio, thank you.
Yeah,
Gio is a better start if you have that option. But if you don't, J.D. McKissick with Antonio Gibson out is a really great start this week against San Francisco. J.D. McKissick does not make his money on the ground. We know that for sure because Antonio Gibson's been so good on the ground. They haven't needed McKissick for that. But McKissick is definitely capable of running the ball. I think he'll probably see double-digit carries this week for the first time this year. He has not had double-digit carries. But I think his targets and receptions will remain very high. And I just got to say, man, it is so nice to see Alex Smith doing well.
Right?
Like, it is so nice to see Alex Smith doing well. That's awesome. Makes me feel good.
Someone asked me, they're asking who's the comeback player of the year, right? And they gave me a few options, and Alex Smith being one of them. I'm like, it is obviously Alex Smith.
There are two options.
Who's the other one?
Ben Roethlisberger.
Okay, yeah. So that's one of the ones that they put in there, right? And I feel like it's not even discussion because they're like, well, Ben Roethlisberger is playing better than Alex Smith. I'm like, true. But Alex Smith won it the second he stepped on the NFL field.
Yeah. No, I think if I had a vote, my vote would go for Alex Smith. But I don't think it's like... I mean, there's a race here. I think Ben Roethlisberger deserves some recognition for his return. But
yeah, absolutely. It's just... it's not unfortunate. I was going to say it's unfortunate for him that it's the same season. No, I mean, it's a comeback player of the year award. Yeah. It's great for both of them. But it's just, to me, like,
Alex Smith almost died.
Yeah, the fact
then almost lost his leg. So
yeah. And then, like I said, as soon as he stepped on the NFL field, he won the award for me because it's not a purely performance based award.
Sure. Yeah. Anyways, J.D. McKissick. J.D. McKissick. The big thing that's been holding J.D. McKissick back is his lack of touchdowns. He's had one touchdown all season. It was a rushing touchdown. And the big reason is because Antonio Gibson has been so efficient at getting into the end zone. So, with Antonio Gibson out this week, I think we see a fairly similar game with J.D. McKissick, but with maybe like 20 to 30% more touches, which is awesome because he's an explosive player. But he finds the end zone this week for sure. I think there's like a very, very high chance that J.D. McKissick finds the end zone and still receives double-digit targets with a possibility of double-digit reception. So I like J.D. McKissick a lot this week. Again, Gio just edges him out, and it's purely based on matchup.
Yeah. I like it.
Of course you do, because I have great ideas.
So you do have great ideas, Perry. So let me hear your wide receiver start.
Oh, boy, this is a good one. Corey Davis. Oh, God, I got it out. Okay. Corey Davis against Cleveland last week, 12 targets, caught 11 of them for 182 yards and a touchdown. He's got 4 touchdowns on the season. Corey Davis has got Jacksonville this week. Jacksonville is not good at all. I'm not scared of Jacksonville, but Jacksonville should be scared of Corey Davis. I mean, I know that A.J. Brown is the number one wide receiver there. But maybe that's what's been the problem with Corey Davis in his career is he's not supposed to be the number one wide receiver.
Right.
He's kind of like Juju in that regard, right?
Yeah.
Juju is much better when he is not the number one wide receiver. And I know a lot of people think that that's a negative comment. It's not. It's just how these guys play. And I think that's fine, right?
Yeah.
People like Stephon Diggs and Adam Thielen, like those guys work best when they have another wide receiver on the other side to help them out. I think Adam Thielen has been performing better since Justin Jefferson has been performing better. So I like Corey Davis this week against Jacksonville. I think it's a really nice matchup. It's not so obvious. It's somebody that you might be able to sneak a win on, especially like in daily fantasy football.
Yeah. Yeah, I like it, which is weird because, I was on a podcast last week, the True North Fantasy Football, our friends up in Canada, and they, after watching, doing their research on us, Perry, they had 2 notes that they brought up to me before going on their show about takeaways they had from our show. Okay. One, that we hate Corey Davis.
I think you hate Corey Davis. I'm having trouble accepting that he's good.
Yeah, and well, I mean, what I told them was I have hated Corey Davis, yes, but it doesn't mean that I'm going to, like this season, things have changed for him. And I'm open to accepting the reality of his current situation, but I still don't love what he did in the past.
Yeah. Do you know what's crazy? Corey
that?
Davis is 25 years old.
Yeah, he seems so much older.
He's super young.
And then their second takeaway was that I hate TJ Yeldon.
Well, they did their research then.
Yep. Research complete. All right, so my wide receiver is Denzel Mims. It's not a sexy pick. It's a Jets wide receiver, which is why it's not a sexy pick. I mean, it's a Jets player, I should say, which not a great thing. Doesn't sound great. But I think he's a solid high-end flex play this week in PPR formats specifically because he's going against Seattle.
He is not playing.
Mims is not?
No, he's not.
No!
Just came out.
Great. Well, I'm going
to do your research, Justin.
Right? I was just looking this up.
It just came out.
Yeah, great. So I'm going to go ahead and carry this exact same logic over to Crowder then, right? Because now he's the wide receiver on that team and this was actually my biggest fear with choosing Mims was Crowder tends to get more targets, but I believe in the talent in Mims more.
Crowder is questionable and did not practice today.
Well, assuming Crowder is healthy, I'm putting him in.
Sorry to do this to you.
Man, this is brutal.
Barrios.
No.
Chris Herndon.
No. I'm going to give up on my wide receiver at this point.
I'm sorry.
That's brutal.
I was going to tell you that Crowder. I was going to tell you Crowder is questionable as a joke, and then I read it, and I was like, oh, he's actually questionable.
I know. I'm like, you have to be kidding me. All right, so do not pick any Jets.
Yeah.
Just none of them, which is usually a good rule of thumb anyway.
I've been trying to give that advice all season.
Yeah, this matchup again, man, what a waste of a matchup against Seattle. This is like one of my favorite ones. I'm still going to tell you why I like this, so you can still apply this to future Seattle games, right?
Okay.
So Seattle has given up 30 more receptions than the next, than the team right behind them that's given up the next most. They've also given up 200 more yards than the team that's given up the next most yards. Mm-hmm. So they're the most in both those categories. So when you have wide receivers going against Seattle, that's great, unless it's Mims and Crowder, who apparently do not want to play football.
Right. The expectation's too high on them this week. They're like, I'm out.
Yeah,
I can't.
Too much.
It's too much pressure.
Yeah.
All right, tight ends.
I will say in my rankings, I do have a wide receiver that's a super high I mean, this seems weird to me. It's probably not one that you would. So it's Chris Godwin. He's ranked outside the wide receiver 2 category, or just at the bottom wide receiver 2 category for this week. But I'm starting him against Minnesota. Minnesota is one of those teams that's right behind Seattle. So,
right, makes sense. All right, let's talk about some tight ends.
Let's do it.
My tight end start of the week, and this is kind of cheating, but I don't know. He was available in our league, so I feel like this is fair. He's no longer available, by the way. Robert Tanyan.
I have a bye week, Barry, so
is my start of the week. Robert Tanyan, I feel like had this big explosion, and then was pretty bad for a little while, and he's quietly had 3 very consistent games with 5 targets, 5 receptions, 5 targets, 5 receptions, 5 targets, 4 receptions, and he has had a touchdown in all 3 of those games. So Robert Tanyan is clearly very involved in this offense. He's clearly started to gain the trust of Aaron Rodgers, even with Devonte Adams around. So I'm not worried about Devonte Adams being there or whatever. I'm not even going to read into Devonte Adams when I think about Robert Tanyan. I think that Aaron Rodgers finally has a consistent tight end, and that's what we need to look at. With Jay Sternberger definitely missing this game, that just creates more opportunity for Robert Tanyan to be on the field. Jay Sternberger obviously wasn't collecting a ton of targets himself, but this gives more opportunity for this pass-catching tight end to be on the field, which is, I mean, when you have Aaron Rodgers throwing the ball, opportunity to catch that ball, I want as many of those opportunities as possible. So Robert Tanyan against Detroit, I'm very excited about this. I am stacking them in my playoff matchup, Aaron Rodgers and Robert Tanyan. And after Robert Woods on Thursday night, I am hoping for a big carry here. I need them to carry me to victory into the semifinals because Susie, I cannot lose to Susie. If I do, I will never be able to look her in the face again. Luckily, she's like 4 feet tall, so I can just stare straight ahead, and I won't have to look her in the face. But yeah,
you'd prefer not to have to do that. So
yeah, I'd prefer it not be awkward. So,
my tight end is Dalton Schultz. Yeah, and
Dalton.
Yeah, old Dalton. So despite the Cowboys' offense just being horrible as of late, with no quarterback, or Andy Dalton at quarterback, I should say. Andy Dalton has always loved throwing the ball to the tight end. It's just been a part of his game. And then you pair that, you pair that with them playing the Bengals, a team that gives up the 4th most fantasy points to the tight end position. And you should see success. Also, last week, Andy Dalton he didn't look horrible. He made some bad plays. Yeah, they lost the game, but he played well enough, and he still got the ball to Dalton Schultz, which is an important piece to this. So Dalton Schultz should be a solid start this week.
Right on. Do you have a defense stream?
I do.
Lay it on me, buddy.
The Washington football team.
Ooh. Nice.
Yeah. So, nice. I mean, obviously they just beat the formerly undefeated Steelers.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Right? And the strongest part, it's not like they, had a shootout with them and they outshot them. They won based off their defense. They have a good defense. It's the strongest part of their team. And they're going against the 49ers, who don't score many points. And they tend to give up. Their quarterback loves to give up the ball. Mullins throws interceptions, and he doesn't just throw one interception. He likes to throw them in bunches. Once he throws one, he tries to force the ball in places. It's like he's trying to make up for his previous interception, which as a quarterback, when you do that, you just throw more interceptions. So I think that's going to be a solid start. Washington has a good pass rush as well. I think they'll get some sacks with what's his name, Young, their number 1 draft pick. He's going to get in there, probably get a couple sacks because Mullins does not have the best awareness in the pocket as well.
I have 2, and so you can decide for me. The 2 I can't decide between are the Green Bay Packers against Detroit, and the Indianapolis Colts against the Raiders.
Ooh,
I'm leading Green Bay against Detroit.
Yeah, I think I would go with them. Golladay's out. Swift is questionable. So, I mean, obvious that factors into it. If Swift is out, then definitely Green Bay.
Yeah.
If Swift is in, then probably Green Bay, but it's really close for me.
Okay. And then one more, the Carolina Panthers against the Denver Broncos.
I don't like that one, and here's why. Because the play here is that Denver Broncos offense isn't good, right?
Right.
But
reminded me.
Yeah, but Carolina Panthers defense also isn't good. And so a lot of times when you get 2 teams that are not playing well that go against each other, it results in a lot of points.
Right.
And I mean, maybe there'll be turnovers as well, but I would rather bank on a team playing well than both teams playing bad.
Okay, cool. You heard it here first.
And
right,
I got a kicker.
Oh, man.
Yeah, Dustin Hopkins. And I have no reason for it. I just chose him randomly.
I saw a stat on Twitter about Dustin Hopkins.
That's so random.
That because Dustin Hopkins, he's a kicker for the team in Washington, right? Yeah, he's been he's had like 10 or more points every week since Alex Smith has been back, I think.
Oh wow. I literally did no research on this and just chose a random kicker.
I'm gonna pull him up real quick because now I'm curious. Yeah, okay, here we go. Since week 9, 10 points, 10 points, 10 points, 11 points, 14 points.
Nice. See?
I mean,
my instincts.
Yeah, they don't stink.
All right, I'm gonna run through some sits real quick.
Okay.
I won't take too long on these. Okay, so first one, quarterback Kyler Murray. He hasn't been doing that great lately, and he's going against the Giants, who we just saw keep Russell Wilson in check. Also, the Giants were able to keep Russell Wilson's rushing limited, and Kyler Murray, his rushing has actually been on a decline lately. And Giants average 15 points to the quarter, or 15.6 points to a quarterback position. And Russell Wilson last week had 15 points. So I don't expect him to do amazing things this week. My running back is Miles Sanders. So they got the rookie quarterback coming in. I don't know how that's going to affect how he's going to play. If he gets more passes, if he gets more rushes, it's hard to really decipher exactly what's going to happen. So I'd prefer to avoid him to see how that plays out. Plus, they're going against the Saints defense, who allow the fewest fantasy points to running backs. So I'm not trusting Miles Sanders this week.
Yeah, that makes sense with Miles Sanders. I don't really want to start a single
Eagle. Yeah.
I mean, maybe Dallas Goedert.
Yeah, that's the only one I would consider.
Right.
Wide receiver Devonte Parker. Parker's splits between Fitzpatrick and Tua have heavily favored Fitzpatrick as the quarterback, but that's not his quarterback this week. He's still the number 1 wide receiver for the team, but he's also going against the Chiefs, who have been doing very well against fantasy wide receivers, allowing the 4th fewest points to fantasy wide receivers. I just don't think this is going to be a great start for Devonte Parker, with Tua being there and going against a defense that does very well against receivers. Doctor?
Oh, I concur.
And then the last one I did is the tight end position, which is Logan Thomas. Uh, Logan
That's your
Tom,
boy.
yeah, it has been. But this week is not his week. He had his best week of his career last season, last week, catching 9 passes for 98 yards and a touchdown. Prior to that, those 2 games, he had 2 games with more than 45 yards. Uh, Alex Smith does throw to the tight end more often than their other quarterbacks. But it's a tough matchup against the 49ers, who have Fred Warner there, who normally like covers that position. And Fred Warner is an underrated linebacker. He has shut down tight ends all season. So I would avoid that matchup. I believe he's allowed 1 touchdown all season to the tight end position. So I'm avoiding that. I think at best case scenario, he will be a top probably 20 tight end.
No Robert Tanyan.
Definitely not a Robert Tanyan.
All right.
Yeah, that's all of our start sits for the week. Appreciate you guys tuning in. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. Greatly appreciate it. It does wonders for us to grow.
Yeah,
and
please.
yeah, we'll see you guys.
Make a comment, and you could win a mystery jersey because we don't know what it is.
Yeah, I really need to look that up. Yeah, we'll see you guys next week in the next week of your playoff run to get you to that championship. So we'll see you guys in that championship week.
Cool. Love you. Bye.